sun's shining, the wind's blowing softly, and teenagers around the neighborhood are doing more illegal things compared to their usual amount, which can only mean one thing. It's summertime.
I mean, it's technically not summer yet, but just go with it.
And when I think of summer, my mind immediately goes to the beach. Laying out in the sun, swimming, getting rashes from the sand, hanging out with friends, potentially getting eaten by sharks, playing beach volleyball, they're amazing. In case you can't tell, I'm not really a big beach person, probably because I don't live anywhere near one, and the last time I went to one, I was 3. Well, thankfully, I can experience all the joy of beaches with 100% more safety and 100% more virginity through the medium of video games. Beach levels in video games, they've been around for quite a while, and while some often link them with water levels, in my opinion, beach levels should be seen as an entirely separate level theme from generic water levels. Most water levels will require you to actually go underwater, and while a lot of beach levels do this as well, they're more often than not just a simple change of aesthetics that help to bring more variety in level design or looks. Unlike other level themes like snow levels or desert levels, beach levels aren't really discussed much in video games. They just kind of exist, and they aren't really as prevalent as those other level types. But even though they aren't talked about as much, there are still some great beach levels out there, and today, we'll take a look at some of the better ones in video games to see just how much fun in the sun they can provide for players, and maybe even come to a conclusion as to why no one really talks about them. So grab your juice boxes, fill up the kiddie pool, and get nice and comfortable as I go through some of my favorite beach levels in video games. The Super Mario series is one of the best gaming franchises that pretty regularly uses beach levels in its games. Obviously, the most famous example of a beach level or setting is Delfino Plaza in Super Mario Sunshine. It might be cheating to include an entire game's world as a singular beach level, but this just does so much right. The map gets brighter and more colorful the more you progress, the water in the areas are clean and nice looking, and in a lot of ways this game defines how beach levels should be done. Minus Flood. And hey, if you don't want to include all of Delfino Plaza as a beach level, then luckily for you, this game actually has its own separate beach section in the form of Gelato Beach. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of some things in this area, like the cataquacs and this fucking watermelon transport mission, but overall this area is really good and maintains its tonal consistency of summertime vibes from the rest of the game. The Mario Galaxy games have a couple of great beach levels too. Beach Bowl Galaxy, Seaside Galaxy, and Starshine Beach Galaxy are all really fun to explore and play, with Starshine being my favorite. There are obviously more beach levels in other Mario games, but in my opinion the best beach level in the series is Seaside Kingdom in Super Mario Odyssey. Like the other kingdoms in the game, Seaside is gorgeous, and finding moons and exploring here is pretty unique compared to other levels in the game. Sunshine gets a lot of love in this area in the form of the Gushin enemies, which are essentially just more mobile versions of Flood. And overall, this kingdom is just simple fun like the rest of Mario Odyssey. It was also the kingdom responsible for allowing us to see Mario's nipples, and I mean I have to love it for that. Mario's old competitor Sonic has had his fair share of beach levels over the years, and the first one I ever played was Seaside Hill from Sonic Heroes. As a first level and a beach level no less, it does its job well enough and is pretty memorable. I mean, you could argue that's memorable due to having to play it 4 times, but I mean, it's still a good level, alright? It's pretty straightforward and introduces the game's mechanics well enough, while still having alternate routes for exploration. I'm not a huge fan of this turtle section in Act 2, especially with me only owning the PS2 version of Heroes, which is by far the worst version, but this ending part with the wheels chasing you is great. When this level returned for Sonic Generations, it was beautifully adjusted to modern Sonic's controls like most of the levels in this game, and also classic Sonic's act is alright, I guess. While Seaside Hill was the first Sonic beach level I ever played, the one beach level most people's minds jump to first is obviously Emerald Coast from Sonic Adventure. Like Seaside Hill, Emerald Coast is also a pretty great Sonic level, and is just iconic as a whole. Running on walls, boardwalks, and the beachside is great, and of course there's the iconic Orca chase scene towards the end of the stage. Overall, these levels are great introductions to their games, while also having unique and memorable aesthetics that fit the carefree tone they're going for. Now, let's do everything these levels did, but do the exact opposite, which conversely leads us to one of the worst beach levels in all of Sonic. Wave Ocean is such a trash first stage. It's obviously trying to reach for the Sonic Adventure nostalgia, and just misses the mark mostly due to how the game is designed. Wave Ocean, like the other first beach levels, introduces the player to mechanics and ideas in the game to come, but it just does it in all the wrong ways. Getting stuck on the loops, missing important jumps, and falling through the seafloor will happen abundantly in this level, and that's just the first act alone. The Mach Speed section is even worse simply based on just how the Mach Speed sections are designed. Overall, this level is a glitchy mess and just does everything poorly as a first level and a beach level, kind of like every other level in this horrible experience of a game. While it's not really a traditional beach level, or a level at all, I really enjoyed the Hawaii segment in Persona 5. Okay, it's me we're talking about here, you knew I was going to bring this up. While Persona 5 doesn't really have as many team bonding events as there were in the previous Persona games, this is still one of the more notable ones, especially compared to the event where you and your friends are sat at Totally Not Disney World. Anyway, you don't really do much here besides hanging out with friends and going on a date, but I do still enjoy this section for being some much needed downtime and for being one of the last calm moments before the plot really kicks into gear. When researching beach levels for this video, I constantly saw people talking about Insanity Beach from the first Crash game, so let's boot up the level and see what I think about it. And that was Insanity Beach. Look, I get that beach is literally in its name, but in my mind I never really classified this level as a traditional beach level. The most amount of beach you get here is at the first 5 seconds of the level, and after that it just turns into a tropical jungle setting like the rest of Crash's levels. I don't know, it's kinda nitpicky, but I just don't see the appeal for this one as a beach level. Now as an actual level, it's great. It's the first level in the game, so it pretty much serves to introduce the players to important mechanics. Kind of like a lot of the other beach levels we talked about. Anyway, overall it's a good level, but it just barely counts as a beach level in my opinion. Treasure Trove Cove from Banjo Kazooie seems like a pretty popular beach level, but I haven't played the game yet, so I'll just leave it at that. Destiny Islands in Kingdom Hearts is once again another first level where you learn the mechanics of the game. Outset Island and the Wind Waker is basically the same thing. Well, at least I can live through the trauma of being an American soldier in the real-life Normandy invasion through Call of Duty 2, because hey, what's a beach level without death and violence, right? Oh wait, is this the first mission in the American campaign? Son of a bitch! Okay, so it seems we've stumbled upon a trend relating to beach levels in games. They're often always the first level, and I really have no idea why this is the case. I guess it could have something to do with wanting to start games bright and happy and then progress downwards tonally from there. Or maybe just developers made a conscious decision to not start with a grass level, so they inadvertently turned beaches into a first level trope. I don't know, I'm not a game dev, but I just thought it was kind of interesting how many beach levels are just the first levels of a game. Whether or not beach levels being the first levels have an effect on the popularity of beach settings in general is yet to be seen, but if there was one thing that could primarily be attributed as a positive to beach levels in games, it would definitely be the music. Yes, I was deliberately avoiding talking about the music in the levels I talked about earlier, because beach settings in games almost always have incredibly unique sounding tracks with completely different varieties of instrument usage compared to other songs in the game. Almost all of the levels I've mentioned so far have amazing sounding tracks associated with them. Yes, even Wave Ocean. The music always benefits the setting in providing a chill yet upbeat mood that perfectly fits the atmosphere of sitting by the sea or running around shirtless as a middle-aged Italian man. Even if beach levels aren't all that memorable or always good, you can always be damn sure that the music will sound incredible. So those were just some notable beach levels in video games. They might not get as much love or attention as other level types like water levels or snow levels, but I still think beach levels can be incredibly fun and I wish they would be utilized more in games as a whole. Beach levels are great for representing the joys of summer, and to celebrate the coming of summer, I've decided I'm finally going to go to a beach. Just kidding, I'm pasty as shit and unattractive. Did you really think I would go to one? Please. Why would I go outside when I can stay indoors and play Nicktoons MLB on my Nintendo Wii?